Hello, all you wonderful readers. Welcome back to Shelf Check, brought to you by the Carolina Manga Library. This month's episode will be another live panel recording due to our head librarian being on the road for over half the month of May. We will return to our regularly scheduled programming next month. This panel presented today is Great Graphic Novels recorded at Anime Central in Chicago, Illinois in May of 2024. As usual, we're going to recommend several graphic novels from different genres and tell you why they are amazing. As a reminder, we are only recommending series that are officially available in the US, either digitally or physically. Today's episode is brought to you by our wonderful patrons. Special thanks goes out to our honorary librarians Chaos-chan and Sean Vahek, and our library assistant DB Explorer. Stay until the end of the broadcast to learn more about our Patreon. So with all that out of the way, let's get reading. So be warned, you're all being recorded now. Welcome to Great Graphic Novels You Should Be Reading, 2024, ACEN. And you should know that I wrote this panel at 3 in the morning after driving 12 hours. So some of these are going to be a surprise to me. All right, let's start off with our first action one. This is Snowball Earth. This is brand new, okay? This is a sci-fi series. It's got giant mecha, it's got kaiju, and it's got betrayal and a completely awkward protagonist. One of those guys is like, I have spent my entire life fighting these giant kaiju from space and defending Earth, and I don't know how to talk to people. So he and his robot are out in space, and they're fighting these giant whale-like kaiju thingies, and they start losing because there's just like this mutated one, because of course there is. And they blow up the robot, and he goes into like stasis sleep, and he wakes up on Earth, which is now in the next ice age, and there are giant kaiju roaming the Earth, and all he wants to do is find humanity so he can make a friend. It is funny. It is heartwarming. It's got some fantastic fight scenes. Oh my God. Some of the best like sci-fi fight scenes I've seen in years, really. Oh, I forgot my other caveat. Okay, so the reason I write this panel, sorry, I'm really tired. We take donations at the manga library, okay? So if you have manga or comics sitting at your house you don't want anymore, bring them to me, okay? I brought you my business cards. They're over there by the projector. You can mail them to me or bring them to an event that I'm at. But I have this rule where I have to read the first volume of every single series that we get given that I haven't read yet, because you never know when there's a cleverly disguised hentai. You laugh all the time, like once a week, seriously, okay? Like I'll get a donation and look at the cover, it's like, my best cat girlfriend. I'm like, oh, cool, another cat girl series. You know, page 1 and 2, cute little setup and everything. Page 4 to 175, nothing but sex. The whole thing. And I can't put that in my library. It's one of the only things I say, I will not stock hentai. There is not an 18 plus section in my library. Now, that doesn't get me wrong, I do have smut in my library. I absolutely have smut, I absolutely have violence. I have anything to tweak your happy little things, I just don't have porn. I draw the line at porn. So, that's why I do this panel. I change it for every single event that I go to. So, I think that's all my caveats. Snowball Earth, fantastic series, just came out. It needs an anime. Real bad, okay? Like, I can't believe it doesn't have one yet. All right. Part of your world. This is Disney. This is Disney's The Little Mermaid, okay? We've all seen the movie, right? At this point, one of the movies at least. All right. So this book takes place 5 years after the movie, but what would happen if Ursula won at the end of the movie? Okay, it's been 5 years. Ursula is now the queen of the surface world. Eric is still under a spell, so he just does whatever she says. She is slowly taking over the entire planet on the surface. Ariel is the still voiceless queen of Atlantica. Triton is dead. He died in the final battle. Ariel's subjects and her sisters all hate her because this is all her fault, you know, because she was a 16-year-old idiot. So now, you know, she's fairly miserable, okay? She's like a badass now, it's great. So one day she hears a rumor that Daddy isn't dead, that Daddy is imprisoned by Ursula. So she has to go back to the surface world, break her curse, get her voice back, find her old boyfriend, defeat her arch nemesis again, and somehow not blow up the kingdom. It's a single standalone graphic novel, and I loved every minute of it. I shouldn't have loved it, okay? I should not have liked this series, but it's written so smart that it's great. If you guys want to still trickle in, I promise you can sit in the aisles here. I won't tell anybody. There's a couple seats left everywhere. Don't lurk in doorways, dear. It's rude. Topical. So yeah, Part of Your World. Fantastic. Fantastic book. Oh, goody, romance. So if you were to cut me open, I would bleed glitter and shoujo. I've read more romance manga. I've forgotten more romance titles than you will ever read in your entire life. I have been reading manga since the late 80s. Okay? So when I tell you that these are good romances, honey, I got you. We're gonna start off with this one. The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich. This is a single standalone graphic novel that will absolutely knock your socks off. All right, so in this world, women cannot inherit property, okay? You have to be a dude. So the only child of a very, very rich family that lives out in the countryside is a daughter, and her father is dying. So daddy comes to her, and he calls his daughter to him, and he says, all right, sweetie, listen, you're weird, you like girls, and I love you to death, but you're miserable out here. So I'm dying. So when I die, take all of our money, sell the house, pension off the servants, move to the city where no one's ever heard of us, pretend to be my son, and go be happy. She says, bet. So she does just that. And she goes to the big city, and she calls herself Count Camembert, because everyone's name is a cheese pun in this book. Everyone, okay? And for like a week, she keeps a low profile because she doesn't want anyone to figure out she's a girl so they don't take all of her money away. Then she gets bored. And she goes to the next ball that she can find. And she meets the local princess, who is, of course, a social activist. And her name is Princess Brie. Every single name is a cheese pun. Anyway, they bond over political activism and gender equality and grilled cheese sandwiches. It's
Fights for freedom?
Thank you and good night. So yes, Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich, single standalone graphic novel. I'm not gonna tell you how it ends or what happens. It's so good. It's worth it's like worth 30 minutes of your time, I promise. So I'm pretty sure Webtoon owns like at least a quarter of my soul at this point. When Webtoon first showed up, I didn't know what Webtoon was, but I saw a Facebook ad for Lore Olympus. And then I read Lore Olympus, and I'm like, oh crap. This is an entirely new repository of shorts of stories. Crap. So, one of the ones that I'm currently reading that is just phenomenal, I'm so glad it got books. It has physical books now, and they're so pretty. This is The Remarried Empress. All right. An empress and her husband have been married for many years, okay? They're a really good, ruling couple. Like, he's a good emperor, she's a really good empress. But the honeymoon, it'd be over, okay? There's no love left in this relationship. Like, none, okay? So the emperor decides, I'm gonna go pick myself up a side chick. And Empress is like, okay, fine. I hate this, but I'm too good and too cool and too much of a good empress to like bother with you, so go do your thing and I'll go do mine. Well, then the side chick gets pregnant. Empress hasn't been pregnant yet. So the emperor gets this great idea. Sorry, get this, okay, this is great. I'm gonna divorce my wife, marry my side chick, have a child so that they can inherit my kingdom, then I'll divorce my side chick and remarry my wife because she's such a good empress. What could go wrong? Right? Perfect plan, right? Absolutely solid, perfectly practical, right? Well, then the empress finds out about this plan. And she is like, nah, I'm not doing this. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. So the day of the divorce, I'm literally telling you chapter 1, y'all. Yeah, literally, chapter 1. So the day of divorce comes, and she stands up before, like, the bishop or whatever religion they have, and the bishop's like, do you accept this divorce? And she's all, like, regal and, like, the epitome of an empress, and she says, I accept this divorce. And everyone's like, no, our empress, she's so good at running our country, we're gonna die now. And the emperor's like, yes! And she says, wait, I have a request. I request permission to remarry right now. And the emperor's like, what? And then out of the shadows comes this completely drop-dead gorgeous blonde dude, and he like saunters up and puts his arm around her waist and says, oh, I guess that's my cue. Turns out he's the king of the neighboring country they're at war with. Literally chapter 1 of this wonderfully amazing adult drama romance series. You will love everyone you're supposed to love. You will hate everyone you're supposed to hate, and you will have no idea where it's going. And this is one of those rare ones where there's not like 15 dudes trying to get with the Empress. There's the emperor that she divorced, her husband, and the one dude that's under a spell, and that's it. Okay? This is not one of those like huge harem things, so it's very, very, very good. It's on Webtoon. You can read it for free, or you can follow my sparkly butt back to the library at 2 o'clock, and I will put it in your hands so you can read it. Ooh, horror. I like things that are bloody and gross and disgusting. This is another Webtoon. This is Hooves of Death. This one is completed, so you can read the whole thing, and you will thank me when you finish. Hold on. Water. Funny thing is, see how energetic I am? I don't drink coffee or tea. This is just me. Right, so Hooves of Death. The zombie apocalypse has happened, okay? So all the humans are scattered and running about. But the problem is the zombie apocalypse does not just affect the humans. It affects the animals and the fairies and the ogres and the unicorns. So the unicorns have banded together to protect humanity, and they make big, like, human camps so they can protect the humans. And one of the unicorns hears a prophecy that there is, in fact, a fifth horseman. So you know you have your 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, right? So first they had Famine, and she's this horrifyingly drawn, skinny twig person, and I love her to death. Then they had Pestilence. Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. First they had War, who's just a big angry cloud with like a sad face on his face. It's great. And then they had Famine, and now they have Pestilence. Pestilence started the zombie apocalypse. And he's just gonna keep doing the zombie apocalypse till everybody is dead, but nobody's dying, because Death doesn't want to show up and do his job. Seriously. So the unicorn hears a prophecy that there is a fifth horseman of the apocalypse called Hope. And she finds this little girl holding a very Negan, very baseball bat with the nails in it. Yeah. She finds little bitty blonde Negan and figures out that she's the horseman. So now they have to battle through the entire planet to find Pestilence and kill Pestilence so Death will come do his job. It is wonderfully grotesque. It is absolutely heartwarming. It's one of the things that I binge read, and then it was one of those ones like when it was finishing like its last arc, I literally had an alarm on my cell phone for the time it updated every week, okay? I had to know what happened because it's that kind of smart. Hooves of Death, absolutely wonderful. This is my sleeper hit. This is the one that I picked it up because a librarian friend of mine called me up and said, Lori, you have to read this. And I said, fine. Soloist in a Cage. All right. So in this world, if you commit a crime, you are sent to the prison city. The city the size of New York City, surrounded by a gigantic wall with big robots on top that shoot anything that goes near the walls. Okay? Doesn't matter what crime you commit. You could kill your sister, you could steal a loaf of bread. Doesn't matter. You go into prison. Okay? The prison city has been there for so long that families have been formed. The convicts get together and make tiny convicts. But they've been born into these cities. So there's literally a thriving metropolis of people that are all imprisoned upon death, okay? So a political prisoner and his 2 lackeys are getting ready to escape, okay? And the general dude has been giving food to the neighbors in their apartment complex because it's just a little girl. She's like 7. And her little bitty baby brother, who's like 12 months old, okay? He's like a year old. He's teeny, toddler, not really moving around yet, okay? So he's been giving food to this little bitty family because he finds out that her parents went out one night and didn't come home the next day because they live in a prison city, okay? So they're getting ready to escape, and he gives them all of their food that they have left over, and he leaves a note, says, I'm sorry, we're leaving, good luck. So they're climbing up the walls, they've disabled the robots in this one section, they're climbing the walls on a big rope, and they get all the way up, and the general reaches down to pull the rope up, and he realizes something's at the bottom of the rope. And it's the little girl. And she's got her baby brother strapped to her back. She's looking up at him as she's climbing, and she's talking to her baby brother saying, it's okay, you're going to live free because you didn't do anything wrong, and we're gonna get out of here. And she's saying it over and over again. And then the baby wakes up, and the baby starts crying. And then the robots wake up, and then they open fire. So they're firing down at this little girl, and the general's hauling that rope up for all he's worth, and the little girl gets shot through the shoulder. And she's still holding on. She's like, no, I'm gonna get my brother out of here. And the general grabs her and he pulls her up, and she hugs him, and she's crying because she's bleeding. She turns around, and she reaches for her baby brother, and he's not there. Because when she got shot, it hit the rope. And she dropped her baby brother down into a snowdrift at the bottom of the wall on the prison side. And she literally tries to leap over the wall, and the general won't let her. And he grabs her and he holds her close, says, no, honey, we have to go. We have to go now. I'm sorry, he's dead. I mean, he just fell 50 feet, and he's a year old. He's dead. We have to go. And she's screaming and crying. I'm literally telling you chapter 1. So 10 years pass, and we see this train. And there's a young lady on the train, and she has white hair. And the dude across from her says, what are you in for? She's like, well, I stole a loaf of bread, but that's not really why I'm here. I'm here to find my brother. So 10 years later, she's been training with the general dude and all of his fighting guys to go find her baby brother in this prison city for 10 years. This is so good, it's not even funny, okay? It's only 3 books long. I have the entire series in the manga library. It was so good, I read the first one, and I called my friend in the car as I'm driving to Barnes & Noble to get the other 2 books. And I'm cursing her out because she didn't send me the other 2 books, okay? I was so angry. I was like, why did you do this to me? This is so good. It's got some fantastically grotesque fight scenes, dregs of humanity, tons of trigger warnings in this, okay? There's everything bad you can think of in this series. But I would still recommend it to anybody in high school. You could actually have this in your high school library because there's nothing truly objectionable in it. It's just violent and vile. So God, this is so good, okay? If you don't want anything else I read this weekend, please go read this, because more people need to know about it because it needs to be an anime. All right, let's lighten things up a little bit, shall we? I don't know why my transitions aren't working, but oh well. All right, so first we're gonna start with Mr. Villain's Day Off. I know this is an anime on Netflix, but the manga is fantastic. All right, Earth is at war, okay, with this demon race, okay? And the only people we have to defend us are basically the Power Rangers, okay? Like red, blue, yellow, all that good stuff. So the general of the demon army, okay, like the biggest top level dude, okay? He absolutely hates Earth and he just wants to destroy it, get this war over with, protect his people, all that good stuff. But every once in a while he gets a day off. And he decided that on his days off he's going to go learn about the place he's trying to conquer. So he has an apartment in Tokyo. And he takes off his demon outfit and he hides his horns and he just puts on a trench coat and he wanders the city, experiencing the city. His very first day off, he wanders into a zoo because he sees a crowd of people walking towards it. And he sees the panda exhibit. And he sees this fat, happy panda rolling around eating bamboo. And he stands there for 6 hours watching this panda and taking pictures of it with his phone that he just got. And he gets back to work the next day and he's writing up his field notes. And in the field notes he writes, "We shall conquer all of the earth and destroy all of humanity except the pandas." His next day off, he has an advertisement for this seasonal ice cream at this convenience store. So he goes to the convenience store and he's kind of staring at it, and it's shaped like a panda, so he doesn't want to eat it. But he stares at it and he stares at it and he stares at it, and finally somebody comes and buys it in front of him. Because he doesn't have the courage to say, "No, that's mine." And he turns to the clerk, nice girl, and he says, "I would like another panda, please." And she says, "I'm sorry, that's the last one for the season. That's it. There's no more." And he gets really angry. He starts to have like the demon thing come out and everything. And the little clerk's like, "Oh, it's okay. We have our new flavor now. Try this one." And it's like a red panda or something. So he eats it, and he looks at her, and nods, and he walks off. In his field notes the next day, he says, "All convenience stores shall be protected by law." And the best part is, every once in a while, he'll run into what is essentially the Red Ranger on his day off. And the Red Ranger recognizes him. He's like, "Oh, you, the demon general, we shall now do battle, glorious battle." And the demon dude's like, "No, bro, it's my day off. Turn around, pretend you never saw me. I'll see you at work tomorrow. Bye-bye." Okay? They're single, standalone. As long as you get the premise of bad dude experiencing Earth at home on his day off, you can read any volume of this. It doesn't matter if you read book 1, okay? They're all hilarious. They're simply, I love every minute of this series. I smiled from the beginning of the book to the end of the book, okay? Mr. Villain's Day Off is absolutely amazing. Once you're done reading that, you can go read Magia Lumiere, which is insane. Magia Lumiere, Magical Girl Incorporated. Whew, what a title, right? So, this one is about, okay, in this fictional Tokyo, because there's never really any real Tokyo, there are these giant kaiju thingies that can come in all shapes and sizes, and there are so many of them that the government can't do anything about them. So magical girl companies start sprouting up, and they have magical girl powers via technology, they put on the outfits and they fly on brooms, and there's just lots and lots of different companies that go fight these demon things. Okay, and our main character is somebody that she's just trying to get a job. She's fresh out of college. She has no skill set, but she has an eidetic memory. Okay, so she can remember anything she's ever read. And she's also really good at studying. So she does this interview at this bank, and they find out there's a kaiju thingy in the basement of the bank, and they call the only magical girl company that's local is a little bitty startup that has one magical girl, just one, who's a complete badass. She's like the quintessential get out of my way, I'll do it myself kind of girl. Okay, love her to death. So she's fighting this thing by herself, and there's problems that happen, and she can't figure out the right entry on her new magical girl iPad, which is literally a thing that they have. And the girl who's doing the interview says, "Wait, I trained with one of those things. I read the user's manual. Give it to me. I will do your spell casting for you." And they do, and she literally is flying through the keyboard because she remembers exactly what buttons to push. And they beat the demon, they beat the kaiju thing, and the magical girl whips around and says, "Do you want a job?" Now. So this girl is training to be a magical girl in this tiny little magical girl startup that happens to have the best technology person in the city working for it, and the president of the company dresses as a magical girl. I don't know what his deal is yet. I've only read one book of this. But he's one of those depressed looking dudes that you cross the street to go away from him, but he wears a magical girl outfit every day. It's absolutely hilarious. It makes no frickin' sense. The world makes no frickin' sense, but I love everybody in it. Okay? It's one of those series that you're gonna pick it up because I told you to, and then you're gonna go tell other people about it because it was that good. Okay? It's also got some fantastic fight scenes. So definitely try Magia Lumiere. It's new. I think it's only got 4 books out right now. So, fantastic series. Please forward. There we go. Fantasy. All right. How am I doing on time? Yeah. So we're going to start off with whoever steals this book. Because I'm a librarian, I have to have at least one book in this series, okay? In this panel. It just has to happen. All right. The youngest daughter, the oldest daughter of a very, very rich family in this countryside town is from a family that is famous because they have this massive library, okay? The size of this convention center. They have a library that big, a personal library that big. And for generations, they've let people come in and read the books in this library and participate in, learning and culture and all that good stuff, right? So after the granddaddy died, the next daughter took it over, and then somebody stole a bunch of books from them. So daughter got mad and shut the library down. Shut the library down so nobody can come in. And she gave it to her daughter, who is one of those completely nerd-obsessed book lovers, the real shut-ins, if she's not holding a book, she kind of hyperventilates. She's one of those. And then there's our main character. Okay, she is set to inherit this library. Here's the problem. She hates reading. She is so sick and tired of being called the book girl, okay, because her family is this huge, family of book nerds. And she's so done. She absolutely detests reading. But one day she has to go check on her stupid aunt because she hasn't answered her cell phone in 3 days, and she's pretty sure she hasn't eaten either. So she goes to the library. She finds her aunt passed out on the floor drunk. And she's kind of getting things cleaned up, picking up all the trash from her aunt. And she looks back, and her aunt is suddenly covered in a gigantic crystal, in a sarcophagus, like a Sleeping Beauty Snow White sarcophagus, okay? And the girl's like, I'm going home. Turns around, tries to go home, and this other girl pops up, and she says, "Hi, I'm the spirit of this library, and somebody stole a book from me, and you don't get to leave till you get it back." So now so basically somebody steals a book, and then that book kind of comes to life in the city. And then the two girls have to battle through the story to get the book back. Kind of roundabout way of explaining it, and it's a very deep kind of story, but I loved every minute of it because the whole time that she's battling these monsters, she's like, "God, I hate this. Can I please just go watch TV?" This is so stupid. I don't want to read this dumb book. I don't care if they get together at the end. I don't know why there's a magical pearl. I don't get it. I don't care. Just leave me alone. And she's so whiny that she's just endearingly whiny. You know? It's one of those. So whoever steals this book, it's a newer series. I only have the first book of it, and I'm very sad about that. But give this one a try. It's an interesting read. Haha, pun intended. And then when you're done with that, shimmy over to the D's and read Drifting Dragons. Steampunk airship dragons. Okay, so dragons in this world are basically giant whales. They're treated like whales. They live on the surface, they live in the sky, and people hunt them to keep them from destroying cities. Okay? So we follow a group of dragon hunters who live on an airship, and they're all insane. It's just the best thing ever. They're all crazy in a different way. And they hunt these gigantic dragons. It's one of those, let's see, what's it like? Remember in, what's that stupid movie called? Hold on. Castle in the Sky. Remember Castle in the Sky, the Air Pirates and Castle in the Sky? That with dragons. You know how that whole cast was insane? Same thing, okay? So we experienced this story through a newbie, somebody who's training to be a dragon killer. The dragons themselves are benign but scary, which is good. They will destroy cities, so you do have to kill them, and then you can sell all the pieces of them because dragon tastes good, apparently. Our main character, the dude with the spear in the front, freaking loves to eat dragon. He literally became a dragon killer so he could try to eat every kind of dragon there is. Whenever they find a rare one, he just steals a piece of steak, like dragon steak, and just starts chopping it up. And he's like, I'm cooking this now. I don't care what my job is, I'm cooking this now. And he makes like a dragon beef sandwich, and then he eats it, and he's like, has a male orgasm. It's great. It's absolutely hilarious. It's got a lot of really fun steampunky moments in it, because of course it's airships and it's got that great vibe. It's also not one of those super, super action-y series. It's much more one of those, we're gonna have our cool dragon scene, and then we're gonna have like a whole chapter of them cutting up the dragon, or fixing a piece of machinery, or a nice slow moment that builds up the character and the ambiance and the storyline and the setting. So, fantastic. It's so good. It's so good it's not even funny. Like I'm gonna buy, it's like 17 books of this stupid series. I'm gonna buy all of it as soon as I get paid again. Shameless plug, Manga Library's Patreon only buys new books. That's the entire point of the Patreon, okay? All right. We're almost done. You guys are doing so well. Realistic fiction. Well, we're gonna start off with this one. Who here has ever seen a single animated Batman anything? That's right. Good. All right. If you have seen a single animated Batman thing ever, you will know that the voice of Batman was Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy was a voice actor who started off voice acting in the 70s. And what a lot of people didn't know, because he kept it completely on the down low, was that he was gay. Okay? So to be a gay voice actor in Hollywood in the 1970s was hell. He faced all kinds of controversies, all kinds of adversities, he got fired from jobs, he would get hired to do a job, and he would come in and they would tell him he has to act like a girl because obviously he should because he's gay. He would get laughed out of auditions, he would get blacklisted from different companies. He just had a really, really, really hard time being a voice actor until he hit Batman. He didn't hit Batman until he was in his 60s, okay? Right. So when he was nearing the end of his life, he decided, I've been in comic books all this time now, it made my career, I'm gonna write my story as a comic book. And DC Comics said, oh God, yes, gimme, gimme, gimme. And they put it in DC Pride from 2019. DC Pride is a book that they put out every year, which is a bunch of short stories about different DC characters on the LGBTQ plus line, okay? And his story is in 2019. It's one of those important stories where he never ever told anybody that he never really pronounced that he was gay. It was not part of his identity. It's simply part of who he was. And to hear that from somebody who literally shaped my childhood, okay? Kevin Conroy was like my man. To the point where, I do conventions, obviously. I do conventions a lot. When he was still with us, I would walk through the vendor hall, and he went to so many conventions that I did too. He never knew my name, but whatever he was doing, he would see me from across. Have you seen what I wear? okay? I have 12 of these different dresses in different colors, in different designs. He would see me from across the convention hall and grab his microphone and say, "Hey, Sparkle Lady, how's the library?" And it became our thing. I would yell back, "It's fine, Daddy." Kevin Conner was a big part of my life. So when I figured out that he actually did this, I was like, no, this has to be mine. And I didn't learn about it until after he passed away. I was very sad, otherwise he would have signed it for me. So this is a very important story. Go read it. You'll thank me later. And then go read this one. This is My Brain is Different. These are a bunch of short stories by people that have ADHD and other developmental disorders and how they live their lives. They're all true stories. The author got together in a couple of her help groups for ADHD, and she learned all of their stories, and she learned the stories of their families and their friends that all have different kinds of disorders that we all live with every single day. And she drew it all up and put a book out about it. Trigger warnings, there's suicidal ideations in this, there's depictions of self-harm, but they're all stories that teach, completely boring people like me what it's like to live with these disorders that I have no experience with. It was a great window of representation. So it's a really, really good book. I really encourage you to read it. It changed a lot of things for me, and hopefully it'll change some things for you guys. I get a little preview of what's coming next. So, Ninja Sex Party is a comedy band, mostly comprised of Dan Avidan, who is the amazing person on the front cover, and Ninja Brian, who is the little dude in the back on the keyboard. And they're hilarious. If you haven't experienced Ninja Sex Party, some of their greatest hits include Dinosaur Laser Fight and Release the Kraken and Welcome to My Parents' House, which is about a dude who meets a girl in a bar and takes her back to his place, but he lives with his mom. It's all stupid stories like that. It's all stupid songs like that. So they got together, Ninja Brian and Dan. Danny Sexbang is his character name, which is great. And they wrote a graphic novel about how they met. Okay? So you start off reading the book, and you've got Dan Avidan, this little tiny Jewish kid in Chicago. I think he's from here. No, he's not from here, is he? He's not from here. Little Jewish kid living in the city.
No, he's from New Jersey.
He's from Jersey. You're right. Thank you.
I don't like that anymore.
Anyway, so you follow his life until you get to the middle of the book, and he literally meets Ninja Brian in the middle of the book. And then you turn the page, and the picture's upside down. You have to turn the book over and read it backwards to read Ninja Brian's story, so they meet in the middle. It's very, very funny. There's actually 2 volumes of this, which I love that I have. So if you are a fan of Ninja Sex Party, or if you're not and just want to experience 2 very unique people meeting each other, go read this. Fun thing, just little tiny thing about Ninja Brian. He's a theoretical physicist who met Dan Avidan and said, "This is what I want to do with my life." And so he started a comedy rock group. It's the greatest story I ever heard in my life. So yeah, Ninja Sex Party, absolutely wonderful. It's another webtoon. It's called Blades of Furry. Yeah, you read that right. This story is about No, it gets worse. You think the title's intriguing. Here we go. This story is about gay martial arts figure skating furry vampires. Do I even need to keep talking, or are you just going to go read it? Because I'm sure I ticked somebody's boxes. All right. In this world, everyone's an anthropomorphized animal. There are no people. They are the people. Okay, it's one of those stories. And there is this sport called martial arts figure skating, where literally you have 2 people against each other, and they're doing their sow cows and their triple lutzes and their toe flips and all that good stuff, but they're also trying to beat the crap out of the other person. You go until either one person hits the ice, they are incapacitated, or time runs out. One or the other. And it's the greatest sport I've ever heard in my life. It's very Ranma 1/2, which is great.
Yeah.
Right? Very anything goes martial arts. So our two main characters are the two people in the front. The tall dude, he is the reigning champion. Okay, he's a bat. Yes, flap flap. He has no wings, but he's a flap flap. And he's the reigning champion. And our main character is the little deer dude next to him. Yes, it's a dude. And he's the rookie. He's the golden rookie. He's beating everybody in the whole system. And all of a sudden, he's put up against the champion. And they're fighting, and they're doing a great job. And then the deer dude makes a mistake, and he cuts his hand open on his skate. And the tall bat dude, his eyes kind of go red. And he tries to grab onto the hand so he can have the yummy. And it turns out the vampires are illegal in this sport. And he is a secret vampire playing the sport. So they of course, Deer Dude finds out Bat Dude's secret, agrees to keep the secret if Bat Dude trains him, and they fall in love, and they're adorable. And the rest of the series deals with prejudice against vampires, and bullying, and cyberbullying, and acceptance, and it's amazing. You have no idea how freaking good this series is. It's written where everybody has a full complex character arc, which is great. The figure skating scenes, I've met the authors. They actually go to figure skating tournaments so they can draw it properly. It's so great. It's so cute. The character designs are really fun. The romance is genuine and cute, and I love it. And I just want to see them get together and be happy, and I hate everybody that's against them. And it's just one of those webtoons that I read it on a whim, and I didn't move for 4 hours. I read the whole thing. And at the end of every chapter, my husband, who would probably be I'm sure he was playing a video game. I'm sure he was. He would just kind of lean back in his chair and say, "Bunny, you all right?" And I would just curse at him. And he said, "Is it that good?" I just curse at him again. Okay, and he'd go back to his game. He figured I'd come talk to him when I was done. And I did. And thankfully, it's coming out in book form soon. But yeah, Blades of Furry on Webtoon. You'll thank me later. Gay, martial arts, figure skating, furry vampires. Also deals with prejudice and all kinds of wonderful drama tropes that we all love. You guys are so close. My gosh, what time is it? Excellent. Okay, shameless plug. I'm sorry. I do this as a podcast once a month. If you're interested in listening to it, it's free. It's on Spotify. It'll be on YouTube Music as soon as I have enough time to actually make a stupid YouTube video. It's on everything you can possibly think of. Give it a listen. There's like 9 episodes. It's only once a month. It's like 45 minutes to an hour long. And it's literally this panel with different books with a different theme. This month's theme, which I have to record in 2 days between conventions, is somebody on my Discord challenged me. I hate isekai. I really do. So they challenged me. They said, no, you're a manga librarian. You have to like some isekai. He said, name me 11 isekai you like. And I said, God, I hate you. But it's on my freaking Patreons. I'm like, all right, fine. This is your personal recommendation I have to do. So this month's recommendation, this month's podcast is 11 isekai I don't hate. I'm only up to 8 so far. I have to find the other 3. So yeah, shameless plug. It's called Shelf Check. It's really good. If you follow us on social media, I announce it every time. And if you're on the Patreon, you get it a day early. Yes?
Speaking of isekai, have you checked out Not So Wicked Stepmom?
I cannot take recommendations yet because we're on a time crunch. Come find me at the library after we're done, since I have to go to the panel after this one. Okay, last one. This is a webcomic. This is called Aurora.
I never read it, but I've heard of it. I know
You should. All right. Who here has heard of the YouTube channel Overly Sarcastic Productions? If you haven't, go get your phones out and watch that, okay? It's myths and history in funny animated form. Anyway, the artist of that draws this. So, Aurora, in this world, gods can be created from belief, okay? So, a giant storm cloud that terrifies a bunch of people can have a god created from it. A city can have a god that protects the city. The ocean pieces of the ocean can have a god, okay? So, when the gods incarnate, they create a physical body for them to live in while they're incarnate, and then they go back to being, ethereal spirits. So there's this city called Vash, which is in a mountain, and it's great. And it's protected by their god named Vash. And one day, they get attacked by these giant chimera monster things, okay? So Vash incarnates, he creates himself a body, tall, blonde dude, blue eyes, fantastically gorgeous. Big sword. And he goes out to meet the chimeras, and he's fighting the chimeras, And this lady that's controlling the chimeras shows up. She's, oh, good, you came out. That was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. And he's like telling her to go away and get out of my city and all that. And she says, no, I'm afraid I can't do that. You have something I want. And so she grips her hand into a fist, and the mountain closes on the city and kills everyone. Destroys the entire city in 5 seconds. Everyone is now dead. Vash is now cut off from his power. So he's kind of, doesn't know what to do with himself. He has absolutely no sense of self, and she stabs him. And he dies. And his soul gets transferred into this dagger that she has. And his body falls to the ground, and she chuckles and wanders away with her chimeras. 3 days later, the body wakes up. And he's not Vash anymore. He doesn't know what he is. But all he knows is that he has to go save Vash. So we have a soulless body automaton wandering the world, trying to find his missing god, which in itself is a really great hook, right? Well, then you get to the overarching plot, which is where the primordial beings that shape this world, like earth and life and water and stone, they're all dead because they imprisoned this big void dragon thing, and it gets loose. And it latches onto a dude who can control all the different elements, and he makes friends with the soulless body of Vash, and now they are wandering the wastelands trying to find Vash and stop the giant dragon. This is one of the best written graphic novels I have ever read, hands down. One of the things this girl does on her YouTube channel is she does these things called trope talks, where she will literally break down tropes in TV and books and break down how they work and everything, which translate directly into her writing. This is seriously one of the best written things I've ever read. It's so gripping and so interesting that it's 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. It's not a webtoon, it's on its own website called auroracomic.com. Fly, go away. Ew, fly, ew. Away from my water. Anyway, they pick up many other, fun characters along the way. Everybody has one of those great rounded character arcs. You have no idea where the storyline's going. The art style is phenomenal, and I can't wait. Literally, it just finished. It's gonna put out its first book next year, apparently. I'm so excited. But it's on its 2-week break in between chapters right now, so it's gonna come back at the beginning of June. Seriously, try Aurora. If you like fantasy, if you like high fantasy with good characters and fantastic fight scenes, the babies. Go read about the Floof Squad. They all have, her art style, they all have this really poofy 80s hair. It's great. So yeah, there's all of my suggestions for today. I have a couple of minutes for questions while I play the video of kittens, and then I have to get upstairs to run the other panel I'm running, which is Hot Take the Book Was Worse. So, we turn on kittens, and we'll have questions. All right, questions? No?
Welcome to the Q&A portion of the podcast. Remember, if you have questions for our head librarian to answer, simply jump on our Discord. Our link is available on our website of www.carolinamangaralibrary.com, and consider joining our Patreon in order to get your question read first. Our first question does come from one of our lovely patrons, Darth Newless, and the question is, what is the best manga that has adults in it? For me, there's a couple of really, really good ones. Of course, there's always Wotakoi, which is a good romance about office workers. There's always the Perfect World series, which is a fantastic one that I'm going to talk about after this next question. There's a new one that I started reading called Magilumiere, which I think I talked about in one of these panels coming up, or I'm going to talk about in one of the episodes coming up. But it's a magical girl series where everybody's a working adult, so they have to deal with adult things. I also love Mr. Villain's Day Off, which of course is about a demon lord, but he's, a standalone person that works a job and has his own apartment. So those are a couple examples. I could probably do an entire podcast about manga with adults in it. Thanks, Darth. You keep recommending really good suggestions. Our next question is, what are some good manga with disability representation? There aren't as many as I was hoping there would be as I started researching this and thinking about the ones that I've already read. But let me give you just a couple of quick examples. I Hear the Sunspot is a wonderful, wonderful romance story about a college boy who is going deaf, so he has to hire an attendant to come to class with him to take notes because he can't hear the professor most of the time. And it's really a sweet, sweet friendship story where the boy is coming to terms with the fact that he will have a physical disability for the rest of his life, and how that disability is starting to define who he actually is. I also really, really recommend Perfect World, which I talked about a second ago. And that is a story about a man who is in a car accident when he was in high school and he's now paralyzed. And as an adult and as an architect, he has devoted his life to designing buildings with accessibility in mind. And he meets back up with one of his former classmates, and she falls in love with him despite and because of his disability and what it has done to him. It's a really good look at how having a disability is like and what living with disability is like. I got one more recommendation for you, and I may have talked about it during a podcast earlier, but it's called My Brain is Different. And it's a bunch of short stories about people that have different developmental disorders like ADHD, suicidal ideologies, different things like that. And it's told from the point of view of the people with these developmental disabilities and how they cope with their lives. So I may go into more of these later on, but hopefully that gets you at least a good starting point. We have a couple of announcements for you. This month we attended both Anime Central and MomoCon. Anime Central was in Chicago, Illinois, and we welcomed over 2,600 different people into our library. And MomoCon was in Atlanta, Georgia, just this last weekend, and we welcomed almost 4,000 people into the library over the 4 days. We absolutely love these two conventions. We've been to them many years now, and we hope to continue going to them for many years to come. Our next event will be in July. We're going to take June off to have some family time. But in 4th of July weekend, we will be in Tampa, Florida at MetroCon. Couple of other cool things coming up. We are, in fact, starting our YouTube channel. So if you are listening to this podcast on a system that you don't like and you would prefer it on YouTube Music, it will, in fact, be coming to YouTube Music sometime this summer. I do not have a date yet. Because when you have YouTube Music, you still have to have some kind of video. So I'm working on making a video set that is not boring, but is also not very time consuming to me, because I already have 2 jobs to do and 3 counting this podcast. Now that we've reached our 10th episode, yay! We are also going to be adding the older episodes to the website, so you can also listen directly from our website. And again, our website is www.carolinamangalibrary.com, and they'll all be posted there. Thank you for joining us for this month's episode of Shelf Check, brought to you by the Carolina Manga Library. This episode was written and recorded by the Carolina Manga Library and edited by NoodleBoyMedia. You can find information about NoodleBoyMedia on all social networking sites. We'll be back next month with Fine. We'll talk about isekai. We're sorry for the delay on this. It's been a long, long episode. This is a challenge that we got from a patron, and we're very excited to talk about isekai that we actually liked. Remember, if you're interested in supporting the library, consider becoming a patron. Our patrons get access to the podcast a day early, as well as behind-the-scenes fun like bloopers and transcripts. We're also on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find links to all of this on our website, www.carolinamangalibrary.com. So until next month, we'll see you in the stacks.